across to you. So I'm going to do my best for us to stay on track whilst I hope it's okay. Jump into the chat panel if it is. If we do venture off into some rabbit holes, pending where the group at large collectively is, it might be beneficial. Would that be cool with everyone? Awesome, fantastic. Today we are diving into the tide of mind, where PD or spiritual bias will always leave you unbalanced in some way, shape, or form. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. Nat's going to jump in a moment and share something with you. And there's, as I said, there's a couple of things we're going to cover. Please, if you've been to these classes before, you know how we rock and roll. We know what they're all about. Nat will share a couple of things that he likes to share before the class gets going. But my one request I have for you guys is whenever Nat and I do work like this, it is your engagement that dictates and drives the depth and quality of the conversation. So please, if you're liking it, loving it, just comment through, keep going, getting it, got it. And if you ever have a question, please just comment it through. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat panel and I'll do my best to make sure all of your questions are asked. How's that sound? Epic, unreal. Nat, it's all yours.
Okay. As always, team, a little disclaimer before these classes, which is please, 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 please don't try and grab this or replicate it and, do your own thing with it. Just kind of leave it here, discuss it here, leave it here. And that's just like, it's not about a business thing or an IP thing. I'll just be actually really disappointed. I'll be crushed if, people would take this and kind of do their own thing with it. The context is too big. We're trying really hard to keep this really tight and keep it really honest and have a lot of integrity with it. So if you can just kind of respect that. And as well, next one is we always expect something to get fired up in these classes, some kind of trigger, some kind of grab something. But we do ask that, this is not the place where you kind of bring those out into the table. If there's, and you'll see why today. But yeah, we just kind of hope that everyone's got their person these days anyway where you do that work with. So this is not the space specifically for that. And we're really interested in it. We're really interested in what comes up, but this is not the place where we dive in and kind of fix it and heal it. That's other places. Cool. Beautiful. All right. Three main things today. This tide of mind is about structures of experience and states of experience. Structures of experience and states of experience. And then we're also going to look at, we're going to tie in what's called the three selves and how this all flows together. So the reason why it's called the tide of mind is not many Western minds recognize that a healthy mind should flow out and flow in, which means it should be externally focused and then internally focused, externally focused and then internally focused. Push the mind out in the day, pull it in the evening. And that is the healthy flow of mind. It's not better to be focused externally or better to be focused internally. A healthy flow actually flows in and out. And I plan today to show you where these different flows or outward flow and inward flow actually have some maps for it. We actually have some things to follow and understand about that place. Is that all right? It's a little technical, but I mean, that's what we do here, right? Cool. So I'm going to start with where we were last session. Give me a moment while I find the slide.
And whilst Nat's bringing that up, team, if you were on last session 2 weeks ago, you'll love getting straight into it. If you weren't on the last session, please note this is going to be just as relevant. And the way Nat's going to share what he shared, it is not, you don't have to learn the previous session. Luckily enough for anyone, please take note, that was one of the only sessions that was released to the public. So if you missed the session from two weeks ago, and you'll know 15 minutes into the call, if you're like, hang on a second, I want to know what these guys were learning for this, just send me an email ASAP and I'll send you the recording, okay?
All right. Sorry, guys, I did have my slides up, but I'll just use that one. Cool. All right, so this is a version of what we went through last teaching group. We're only going to stay on the left-hand side, okay? Subjective I. No, that's probably a bit too much, actually. Let me find my other one. Sorry, team. Not feeling it. There it is. Okay. We're only going to stay on the left-hand side today. We're going to talk about the integration of the top left, the spiritual felt experience with the first person. The reason why we call it the felt experience in spiritual is because it's the direct experience. So everyone go in the chat panel right now. You can do it at any point. Go in the chat panel. What is your direct and immediate experience right now? I don't want thoughts. I want a feeling. You could say bubbly or light or empty or full or, but go into the chat panel. What is your upper left experience right now? What's the felt experience? Mine is, I'm all over the place, to be honest. Like, I'm so tired. I'm so all over the place. I had so much travel, but I'm really pumped to be here. So I've got this excited, really tired energy. It's quite weird.
What are we getting? Curious, calm, open, heavy and sad, depressed, emotion, curious, connected. Hey, Lisa, great to see you here. Welcome. Dull and interested. Love it. Reese, good to see you here.
Yeah.
Subtle mind, drained, relaxed. Yeah, loving all these. Beautiful.
Great. That's your felt experience right now. Now, quickly on, we're gonna only focus on this left-hand side today. I'm gonna quickly work through these, right? And just see if you can pick where your outward flow or your perception's at. So archaic is I only want food and sleep. Magic is I want food, sleep, and a bit of pleasure. Mythic is I'm interested in the rules and roles of the world. Rational is I'm here to achieve, I'm here to learn stuff, I'm here to figure it out. Relativistic is I want to include everything, I want to see how it all fits together. I want to feel sensitive to understand the world. And then integral is I want to learn all of it. Who's in archaic? Who just wants ice cream and bedtime right now?
All right, we've got rational, mythic. Someone's definitely keen for ice cream and bedtime.
Yep, archaic, great, me too.
Rational, rational, rational. Rational.
Cool. Yeah, we're here to, yeah.
Integral.
We've got some integral peeps. Great, 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 great. All right, it's good. Nice little check-in. On the left-hand side is all on the interior. All of it's on the interior. We're not talking about bodies and cells and tissue. We're not talking about trees, cities, anything like that. Right, we're all on the interior. Now, team, I've got something to share because Nathaniel's got something to share. And this is where I want everyone to pay attention, please. Please pay attention. Please, please, please. The things that are appearing on Facebook right now and social media to do with this left-hand side is messy, 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 okay? Messy, messy, messy. I didn't have time to, I wanted to show you some photos of the Facebook post that was sent to me that me and my good friend have a nice giggle about, my dearest pal. But there is, I want you to be aware of something. I want you to understand language on the left-hand side. You know, when people start talking about containers, light codes, this and that, and these highly subjective experiences on quantum this, light code that, all that jazz. You know what I'm talking about? Does everyone know what I'm talking about? Okay, frequency, light code, quantum, da 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 da. All of that is fine. It's fine. It's just on the interior, okay? As soon as you see interior language like that, all of that jazz, that subjective space, it's highly subjective. What you got to understand is as soon as someone tries to make that exclusive, they do not know what they're talking about. So when you hear quantum this, light code that, frequency, changing your DNA, this is a real post, by the way, freaked me out. You can't speak like that and then sell it in exclusivity, trademark it in exclusivity, pretend like you have it and someone else's don't exclusivity. You can't learn it unless you come through me exclusivity. When you start to see that, team, that is an instant no trust. It has to be instant no trust, because everything on the interior is available to everyone all the time. It's included on the interior. You cannot make it exclusive. And if someone tries to make it exclusive by selling it, trademarking it, creating gateways and entries, criteria, they have not understood what they're talking about. Now, I'm not criticizing their methods, and I'm not even criticizing their effects of their methods. They could be a really great person to work with, and they might even make a shitload of money. That's not the point. The point is they do not understand what they're talking about, so you can't trust them, because you cannot make the interior exclusive, because every person on this call has a deep and juicy interior. Interior of I, interior of we is totally available to everyone all the time. So that's what I want you to, this group is about discernment. It's about sense making in a pretty crazy time. If you see that language, which is all subjectivity, it's all subjective. If it's subjective and on the interior, it cannot be exclusive. Cool. Questions on that before we move any further? I just had to get that because I'm probably going to bring one of those each week, because it's crazy. Like it's actually dangerous what these people are doing.
So each week we're going to have a little segment now. It's called "This is the not okay piece."
This is the not okay. This is not okay now. Okay, this is not okay now, and we have someone that I'm going to work with on those, and we're going to have this is the not okay piece.
Just quickly jump into the chat panel, team. What came up for you when you heard that? Anyone else noticing it and seeing it, or has for years? Anyone resisting it and just said, "Fuck you, Nat."
This woman literally said. Working with me can change and open up dormant DNA. Hey, no, it can't. No, it can't. What are you talking about? No, it can't. That's absolutely ridiculous. You can't. Okay, and here's why. Here's the clear reason why. We have our map here. You can't use something in the top left. She was calling it light code language or something. It freaked me out. You can't use top left experience to change upper right physical DNA in a cause and effect manner. That is delusion. That's delusion. And that's someone being extremely lazy with their work, and that's someone being extremely deluded in what they think they are. And it's a little bit concerning for their mental health, to be honest, in a long-term way. Oh, now I'm back, team. Now I'm back. I just needed that little warm up. How do we feel about that? Too much? Is everyone okay?
Yeah, getting lots of comments through, all very relevant.
Okay. When navigating this space of the interior, trust your gut. Trust your gut. Right? Because these purely subjective spaces that I'm seeing everywhere, people are now experts in a subjective space because you can just say you are. I've got this method, I've got this thing. Because it's all subjective, no one can check it, no one can fact check it. Let me just have a look about people here. Jeff Cullen, Craig, Reese, Geordie, hello, Brady, hello, Reese, my man, hello, Renata, hello, Luke. Checking in.
So, someone's commented through, but they told me they were the founder of Light Language.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, Reese.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Right, we're all founders now of something. Now, we've got an FSD member, Maddie White. I don't think she's here right now, but Maddie is brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant, and she's a chiropractor. So she works specifically in the top right with the physical components of the body, that brings in a top left and bottom left experience. Now, Maddie is a doctor. When you work on the right-hand side with physical tissue, it's highly exclusive. She's done years and years and years of study, right? Years of study. So she can say those things in the exterior because she's worked her ass off for it. People on the interior, You can't bring that level of conviction in the purely subjective spaces. It's got to be linked to some kind of rationality. Anyway, I hope that's not too much, but we're moving on. That's my intro. We're only going to hang on the left-hand side today, and I've got something to show you. Bingo. So, as you can see here, down the left, we have our outflow of mind. Our outflow of mind is this. Whether you take Piaget's cognitive development, Lovinger's spiral dynamics, Susan Cook-Bruder's ego development, if you take any of these developmentalists and pour them into one meta model of ego development, it's this. This is the model of how our ego moves up and develops itself. We go from archaic, I just want ice cream and someone to love, magic, I want some pleasure and everything's pretty magical. This is why, things like Harry Potter and cosplay, it's so widespread because we all have this kind of magic need. Mythic is our rules and roles and our kind of fundamentalist religion, even bikie gangs, that level. Then we have our rational structures, which is I want to achieve, I want to get things done, I want to build a self-esteem, I'm an individual. Pluralistic, holy shit, I've just become really sensitive. We're in a global village, everyone's heart matters, everything feels a little bit unfair. Integral, it's only 20 years old. This structure of mind's very complex and includes all of it. That's the PD market in a nutshell, whether they know it or not. In a full nutshell, that's what we're climbing. But that's only the outflow of mind. So I want to talk today on pathologies. I actually want to talk today on pathologies of things that can go wrong when we're trying to grow. But this is where it gets sexy, is things can also go wrong when we try to deepen ourselves through spiritual practices. So this is the way our mind, this is a structure of mind, and this is our states of mind across the top. So whether it's Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, whether it's the 10 Zen ox herding pictures, whether it's St. John of the Cross mysticism of Christianity, whether it's the Tibetan Bond system, if you want to train meditative states, it doesn't matter what system you look at, it will follow an order. So whatever meditation system you work with, it will start with gross reality, breath work, counting practices, body postures. This is all gross, right here, right now stuff. And the system will gradually take you more and more subtle into these really, really subtle non-dual states of mind. That's the inflow, right? So we have our left-hand side, which is how our ego develops, and our outflow of mind. Then we have the inflow of mind, which is our trained or natural meditative states. So before we knew all this, if someone, these states on the across the top here, you can drop into a mystical or spiritual state whenever, by the way. Like, they can just happen, and they do happen. Go into the chat, who's dropped into a non-ordinary state, or who plays with states of mind, whether you train them through meditative practices, whether you use psychedelics, or whether you've just dropped into them naturally. Where do we sit on our spiritual or mystical experiences as a group? Just go to the chat panel. Give me a pulse check on where we're at, so I don't go too crazy.
Everyone jump to the chat panel. And whilst they're doing that, Nat, can you just explain again, as we're looking at very complex and subtle image here, just explain in layman's terms again when you're suggesting states of mind and structures of mind. Just explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, cool. So structures of mind on the left is you've got to mature as a person, and this is where people get ego talk all wrong. Your ego, the best thing it is at doing, it's not the best at dying or disintegrating or leaving. It's the best at including. And no one gets this, but your ego, it has to do the work to include its new development. So if you look at all of your history, the best thing you can do with all of your history is include it right now, not get it away, not tell a new story, not think I'm not my past and I just got to be a different person. That's not how this works. left-hand side and the movement of the ego, or the authentic self, which we'll get into, is moving up these levels of complexity, and it wants to include and include and include, and actually it wants to get bigger. So to have a full experience of life, fullness is really nice. Fullness, then we want to include as many values as possible, as many complexities as possible, as many people as possible. We want to use our ego to include. And the way we include, it goes, it fills up and goes pop into the next level of complexity. And in the gaps here, there are phase transitions where things get a bit crazy because you're reaching for a new structure of mind. That is the PD market, whether it knows it or not. It is following that. So we can summarize the whole PD market in that, but it's ego development. Across the top here is how we transform our total experience. It's not getting rid of the ego. It's not bastardizing it. It's not excluding it. It's just going, this is how my authentic self shows up in the world, and that's how I develop myself. And my meditative practices or my spiritual work it's how I transform this total thing into something wild. But you need both. And we're going to go into why they talk to each other perfectly. Why they talk to each other perfectly. Is that okay? Is that too much? Where are we at?
Done with the chat panel team. Good to keep going. Any questions? Going over your head? Resonating? Anita showing this is really good. It's making so much sense. Great. Let's go. Awesome. Yeah, let's keep moving.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about how these things go wrong, because it's really important to know how these go wrong. Archaic magic and mythic today is normally done between 0 and 10 years old, normally. I mean, I know some adults that are still stuck here, to be honest. That's still, mythic is just rules rolled. If they're at the complexity of I'm right, you're wrong, they're in mythic. I'm right, you're wrong. And so normally between 0 and 10, we get these three done. If there are disruptions between 0 and in between here, like even as small as, breastfeeding didn't go well. If breastfeeding didn't go well, that child will grow up with trust issues, right? Magic is where our libido is starting to develop, because the libido actually is really high in a child. So a child is a pleasure thing. A child is full of pleasure all the time. And then it goes dormant until the teenage years, where it starts to come into the personality. So our magic level is when the child is still in pleasure. This is Freud. This is all Freud's work here. Guys, we can also follow this really clearly with this follows the chakra system perfectly. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Crown, base. It's the chakra system perfectly. Now, in these bottom 3 chakras, these bottom 3 levels of our development, if something happens here, if trauma happens here, then the pathologies will be your multiple personality disorder, bipolar, developmental disorder, what else we got here? Dissociative identity disorder, borderline issues. If something happens early on, is where someone experiences in their psychology these borderline issues. And narcissism. Because narcissism is borderline personality disorder, masks, by the way. So when I'm working with someone that has these tendencies, I know something early has happened. So we work on the structure really early to clean that up. When someone reaches rational, they've got a good base, right? They've got a good base. Rational is, I want to achieve some stuff. I've got pretty good self-confidence. I'm going after it. I'm an individual. When someone gets here, we get classic repression issues, because when someone is stabilized at rational, all these lower drives from here, you can just repress, because a rational mind is really strong at going, repress, I'll make an idea, repress, I'll make an idea. I just got a new idea, this means that, this means that. And they just use the mind to kind of pad out their world and keep it all going. So when I work with someone that's a really good achiever and they're kind of having a hard time, I just know they're really strong at repressing things. looking at some people. I've got my eye on some people when I say that, eh? So, and we move up to pluralistic green when someone gets really sensitive and really world centric. This is when they can start to throw away the rest of the ladder. They go, well, no, the human heart is the only thing that matters. The human sensitivity is the only thing that matters, and we need to protect that at all costs because how can that not be true? So you get the pathologies here are these really kind of wild belief systems around we must do everything to care for someone. And that's actually a pathology at this level here. So that's how things can go wrong as our ego develops, and you'll see it everywhere. Down here, we have our borderline issues, the really intense, hysterical kind of issues, really tough stuff. Here, we have our classic kind of repression issues. And then here we have our really tough belief systems on, none of this matters. It's all about the human heart, and that's the only thing that matters. Okay. How are we feeling about that?
Yeah, we just got a question. Terry's asking, can you move between the levels?
Absolutely. That's definitely the goal. And we'll get the second half of this session is describing why that's important. So let's stay on these levels. That's the whole goal. Like the whole goal is to move. But here's where it gets even more technical, if you want more technical. We want to move the authentic self up these levels. Now we're going to bring in the cells. We're going to bring in these 3 cells. We have 3 primary cells that everyone talks about, and no one knows where they go. We just yammer on. We have false self, we have authentic self, and we have real self. False self, authentic self, real self. I know they've been used a lot, and you'll hear them more and more and more and more. But the best way to describe this, what we're going through, false self, authentic self, real self. I'll describe them, and then we'll move on. False self, under the category of false self, we have self-images, self-fragments, sub-personalities, disrupted ego structures, dissociative identities. They're fractured selves. False selves are fractured selves. You could put that in the trauma bucket, but it's just easier to recognize their false selves. Fragmented, fragmented, dissociated. They're the tricky ones. Painful ones. They have emotions attached to them. All of the false selves you have, and there's many of them. We have many of them. There's not just one. There's many of them. All have come from damage on the left-hand side. All of them. Something hasn't been included properly. Something's been pushed out, right? So you even haven't included it. You've pushed it out. You've got these little false selves running around. The entire goal of the left-hand side is to find all the false selves and do classic good personal development work on them. Classic good work. Shadow work, projection work, schema therapy, talk therapy, CBT, whatever. All of the classic psych and classic PD we want to use to grab all of our, clean up all the false selves, unveiling the authentic self in the middle. The authentic self, yeah, go.
Nat, can you just remind people whilst you're here the very, very important transcend and include methodology or approach? Because I think that is, I think a lot of people are understanding it's about this radical inclusion, but there is a big difference between a transcend and include as opposed to the transcend and exclude.
Yes. So up the left, that's if you, Tommy's just intuited something perfectly. False selves, something has gone wrong in the transcendence or something has gone wrong in the inclusion. So you haven't transcended fully or you haven't included fully, or you've transcended and excluded, right? A big one happens from rational, this orange to green. Someone's a hardcore achiever, go, 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 go. I'm doing something, I'm getting results, I'm very objective. And all of a sudden, they start feeling these really sensitive values. This is really weird when it happened to me. All of a sudden, they can't push as hard. All of a sudden, they're caring about, oh, I don't want to charge this person too much. When, a year ago, they were just I'll charge them whatever I want. And now they're like, oh, I can't do that anymore. What's going on? What happens is there's a reaching for the next level of complexity. But if you don't go the full jump, if you don't fully transcend and you kind of hang in the middle, then you're going to create a false self. You're going to create more stuff you need to clean up. So Tommy's the intuition is correct, is we want to transcend and include, transcend and include. But in that messy process of transcend and include, you can over transcend and under transcend. You can over include or over exclude. So guys, the cleanup work, the therapeutic work, it never ends because you're always reaching and then trying to include. Like I've got people that's working at super integral and above, and they're deep in their practices, and the things they're excluding and including, like it gets so subtle. It gets
And we had a
really
question that just
yeah.
while you're speaking on that, we did have a question a bit earlier that I think it's probably important to speak to. Could you explain the integral and super integral?
Sure. Sure. Integral here is it's only 20 to 15 to 20 years old, and it's the first time in history we have an interior that's available to everyone. Maggie and I were on holidays and we kind of did the numbers. Maggie did the numbers. There's about 4 million people in the world at Integral, which is it's a lot, but it's also not that many. Integral is the first time in human history where the mind can hold all of that, include all of it underneath, include all of it as me. This is me. I'm this one, I'm this one, I'm this one, I'm this one, I'm this one. Yes, I want to cry and go to sleep. Yes, I might be a little bit addicted to pleasure. Yes, I can get a bit shitty and think I'm right all the time. Yes, I want to achieve some things. And yes, my heart's a little sensitive. And it's all me. It's the first time the mind can go, oh my God, I'm all of it. Everything in the culture, that's me. All of these value structures, that's me. It's all in me. And then super integral is where we start to see the beginning of the merge of the structure of mind and the states of mind start to come together. So super integral is super integral. It starts to pull in everything, including. So if I could put a line between pluralistic and integral, a lot of our culture is dabbling with this line right now. And that's why things are a little crazy, guys. Things are a little crazy because a lot of people are dabbling with this jump. This jump from pluralistic to integral is called the monumental leap to meaning. It's a monumental leap from here to here. And it's a leap to a really, really deep meaning. This leap from pluralistic to integral is classically defined as a deconstruction. So you get deconstructed heavily. Everything gets wobbly. Everything gets crazy. And you're seeing 4 to 5 perspectives on everything at once. And it's feeling weird and wobbly. And it's called the Teflon mind. It's like you can't grab anything because everything's just deconstructing and falling away. So back to our clear point here. False self to authentic self is classic psych and developmental work on the left-hand side. What am I pushing away? What am I overly attached to? Where do I have, where am I burdened with heavy emotion that I need to clean up? I feel unbalanced. If you've got false selves, this is where I come back to my start of the session here. If you've got false selves running around, which we all do, and you jump to spiritual or transformative work, anyone can have a great spiritual experience from a false self, but as soon as that state fades, they get slingshotted back to the false self.
So tell us about that, Nat, because I don't want to get us off track, but I do, in the time we've got left together, I do want you to speak directly to, as you continue to go through this, but I do want you to speak directly to your maturity must take precedent over your spiritual discovery approach, because I think you're dabbling in that there, and I think that's really, really fucking important.
Yeah, cool. So here's and guys, this is just an overview. I know it's a lot, but this is kind of the surface. This is kind of the packaging of what we do in the membership is we unpack this fully. So if you're interested in that, definitely jump on board because this is literally just the surface.
We start Monday, team. We start Monday.
Oh, there we go. False. Oops. False self are all your self concepts, old self images, fragments of yourself, dissociative identities. People are now talking about the kind of internal family systems. That's kind of popular right now. That's all false self work. What are our techniques for that? Projection work, shadow work, schema therapy, talk therapy, CBT, 3-2-1 practices. We know all that. That's false self. If the false self likes to jump into real self work, transformative spiritual practices, right? Anyone, give me 50 minutes with anyone, and I'll get them into a great state. Give me 50 minutes with any human being, and I'll get them into this transcendent, wonderful space. As soon as we stop, you get slingshot straight back to the false self. Straight back to the thing you haven't cleaned up yet. So what takes precedence all the time is false self to authentic self is the basis of everything. You know why? It's hard. It's hard going. You've got to endure, right? You've got to be honest. You've got to clean your life up. You've got to do hard things, really hard things. Moving the false self from the authentic self ensures a consistent growth in the structure. Consistent and steady growth in the structure. How many people do you know, right? How many people do you know have all of these things in their life they need to clean up, but they keep doing spiritual work, practices, and breath work, and plant medicine, and reaching. Everywhere, right? So this is our clear dot point for this session. Why does authentic work take precedence? Is because you can't actually transform anything about your life unless it's from an authentic place, an authentic self. When the authentic self engages in transformative practices, you get lasting change. But when the false self engages in any transcendent or spiritual practices, there's no change at all. There's actually just more confusion.
Would you say that that's a pretty common experience in the PD market, is to give someone a felt experience just to calm them in the moment for 30 minutes?
Well, it's now that is like the snake oil of the season is you go to like an event or something and they do wild holotropic breathing or some sort of crazy breath work, and they give you an experience and then sell you something when that's going to fade back to the false self, and it's not going to do anything. It's a nice experience and it's fun, but it doesn't do anything. If you want the reason why, is because pumping your body full of oxygen lowers your CO2. And when you have really low CO2, you actually get a rest from your karma, which is your patterns of mind. You get a rest from your karma and you go, oh, that's amazing. And then when the physiology rebalances, the mental structures come in and you're exactly the same. It doesn't change anything. So Tommy and I, in what we do in the membership, right, what we're doing with our clients all the time is we're like a dog on the bone. False self to authentic self is the backbone of everything. And because we need to know where now let's do this. Transformative work, spiritual work, meditative work, look at across the top here. If the left-hand side is transcend and include, across the top, guys, I'm sorry to be complex, but this is just true. It's completely exclusive. States are exclusive. Structures are inclusive. Let me explain it. You can't be drunk and sober at the same time. You can't be high and straight at the same time. Trust me, years of research in that department. Personal research. You cannot be high and straight at the same time. I tried many evenings. But when you're playing with states of mind, if you can't be in the growth state and the subtle state at the same time. So we need to know where your authentic self sits, because, let me get rid of that. This is a much more integrated map of where people are at. Truly, truly, truly. Let's say we remove.
We're going to be diving deep. I'm personally curious. Nat, are you planning to dive pretty deep into this
No.
in the full spectrum development
Oh,
membership?
yeah, of course, of course, of course.
Gotcha.
It's going to be the basis of everything.
Got it.
Um, um, yeah. So we clean up the false self and the authentic self. We need to know where the authentic self sits, truly, because it sits in a structure nice and cozy. So if someone sits in rational, and now we know that we've cleaned them up, they sit at rational, right? And we start doing transformative work. I know exactly what their experience is like, going to be like, because if they have a non-dual state, which you can pop into at any time, I know their non-duality, this big experience of everything. Oh my God, everything's non-dual. I know that they're going to feel oneness with the rational world. Right? They're not going to feel oneness with spirit. They're going to feel oneness with their rationality. Right. So let's go down one to mythic, which is this kind of wrong and right, wrong and right. Guys, listen up. When someone has a non-dual experience, which can happen at any time, but their structure of mind is mythic, they will think they're God. Oh my God, my view of life, I'm one with my view, which means I'm right all the time, and I will kill someone for that. That's jihad, by the way. The reason why that holy war can get so, because they're so low level in their morality, but they have oneness experiences, they're happy to kill someone. No problem. So if we don't start understanding how structures, outflow of mind, work with inflow of mind, our transformative or meditative practices, which are now the most popular thing ever, guys, we're going to be messy. There's going to be mess everywhere. There's going to be mess everywhere.
We see it all the time. It's like clinging for like, do I need to go? I need to do personal development work, and I just need to focus on my goals today. And then the next day, someone's like, you know what? I've really just needed to meditate and get into a Zen state. It's like this
Yeah.
confusion of just what is supposed to be working for me at the moment.
Yes. The way we order is, Tommy, can you give me the points that we listed out on the?
Of what we're diving into today.
Yeah. Give me the main points.
Cool. The ultimately the overview was, and I think we've covered. Actually, as I say these, can everyone jump in the chat panel right now and please let
Questions.
me know if we're being looked after and if it's been looked after and answer any questions. There's only one that I wanted to
Yeah.
cover with you as well.
Yeah.
States of mind versus structures of mind. Everyone jump to the chat panel. Is everyone really, really clear? Like, to be honest, probably beyond many practitioners in the field of the subtle but very important difference between states of mind and structures of mind now.
Yeah.
It's incredibly important. We want to know if that's come
It's
across really clear to you.
incredibly important.
Number two was why your maturity must take precedence over your spiritual
Ah,
or even blind spiritual striving.
yep.
But you've crushed that, Nat. Everyone jump in the
Okay.
chat panel. Have we crushed that without directly let me know why your maturity, development of structural experience must take precedent?
Yeah, morality, honest living, clear relationships, difficult conversations.
And that the only thing that we haven't spoken to yet that I did. What's the time? Okay, we've got 10 more minutes. Is this concept of when to know when to grow and when to pause.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. All right. One more thing before, the way to start this is like this left hand structure, right? The structure holds the transformation, the spiritual realization, and the depth. So we want to authenticate before we realize. Just remember that. Authenticate before realization. Authenticate before realization. Because the juicier your maturity gets up the left-hand side, the more you can stabilize bigger, juicier, transformative experiences. If you're not doing honest, difficult maturity stuff, then you're going to have wobbly transformation, wobbly realization. And it's going to make your life more difficult. So when you have a precedence for your maturity, your transformation keeps beautifully evolving in a nice way. Now, that was my start. Tommy, what was the question again?
Just in the last few minutes we've got together, I would love to know,
Oh,
or everyone would love to know
when to grow and when to stop.
when to grow and when to pause. Like that is
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people get stuck on the whole just keep growing and they're not aware that it's just a response to pain and suffering. When
yeah,
do you
yeah,
know
yeah.
when to pause and when to keep going?
Yes. Okay. So uh, you should never have the growth button on all the time, right? You do because you're just not paying attention. Um, if there's something in you that says work on yourself all the time, then that's actually a false self. Like we go back here. If there's something incessant in you, it's like everyday growth work, growth work, growth work, then that's actually a false self. If you have that incessant drive, drive, that's your time to stop. Like that's your time to stop. If your life is stuck in some inertia, not feeling like it's going anywhere, feeling like sameness of experience has crept in. If there's sameness of experience has crept in, then there is, and by the way, I'm not saying you're not doing any growth like journaling or anything like that. I'm saying if your experience is stuck in sameness and you've become routined, then we've got to look at how to poke the bear, kick you off an edge, get some courage. We've got to pop that bubble, right? But if there's been heaps of change, heaps of growth, if you've experienced a growth moment, whether it's a stretch of time, you have to go recover. So if you know in your heart, I'm definitely different, things have definitely changed, I'm loving where I'm at, you've got to go recover. Because when you grow, if you've had a true growth experience, you always break things. You always break things in growth. So you got to go do inclusion work, settle in, settle down, get present, do not push it forward. But if you're in the opposite, if you're in sameness of experience, nothing's really going anywhere, nothing's really happening. And even if you're doing mental work, then you've got to chat to Tommy and I. Something you need to pop the bubble. There needs to be a courageous step. There needs to be some kind of practice involved to shake things up. Uh, yeah, so it's that you're either in inertia or you've grown. If you've grown and you know it, time to recover. If you're in inertia, we've got to change some things around.
Jump into the chat panel team. Let us know how that went down. What are you noticing? What are you becoming aware of? Kim sharing, oh, that's really gold for me right now. Love it. Jeff sharing, so good. Thanks, Jeff. So good to see you, Jeff. And welcome. Making sense. Making sense. Rest and recover. Yeah, rest and recover and
Oh,
clean
Lukey
up.
Swanson. Sorry, Luke, I didn't say how are you, brother. Yeah, if you've experienced a really nice growth moment, the best thing you can do is go away and enjoy it, include it, don't push it, because you would have broken some things off in the process.
Is everyone just what Nat said right there? Do you get that? That's what the second most important thing to walk away with from the process. It's not this la-di-da, oh my God, I'm liberated and I feel better than ever. Now I get back to life. It's, oh my God, I feel liberated and I'm better than ever. Shit, I got to get the mop and broom out and go clean up all this stuff that I just
Yeah,
transcended from
exactly,
and
exactly.
clean it out. Very, very important.
Yeah,
Chris is
yeah.
sharing, yeah, love the pauses in life. Carissa, so good to see you here.
Let me just stop this. Let's get some let's use the last 5 minutes to any questions, discussion points. Do you want anything? Fire away.
Questions, team, jump to the chat panel. If you have 3 to 5 minutes to ask any question regarding what we dove into today. Oh, this is great. Nat,
Yeah.
Reese is asking you, what if you know you need to rest and recover, but just have great difficulty in doing that?
Well, if you know you need to rest and recover, you have great difficulty in doing that. Well, there's an underlying anxiety. There's an underlying anxiety. That's called drive response team. Drive response is when if you can't sit still and you actually can't rest, it means there's motivations in you that you're unaware of. You have a compulsion to keep moving and acting, which means there's no autonomy in your actions. You're being compelled or driven by something else. And it's really important that if I can't stop, even though I need to, there's something. It's not that I can't sit still, it's I must not sit still. I must not. What's that must not? There's something compelling you and driving you, which is a false self. If you know in your heart you need to rest and you can't, you don't have autonomy over your being. Something's out of whack. There's a false self at play.
There's another question coming through here, Nat. I think it's really beneficial to everyone, and it's such a common question. We have so many of our clients. We're like, cool, I've been resting for a while. Do I start again or do I not? So Dan's asking the question,
Yeah.
when do you start after you've experienced a pause and a cleanup, so to
Yeah.
speak?
Yeah. Great. 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 It's when where's Caleb? Is Caleb here? I think I saw him. This is Caleb and I went through this stage. I was basically holding Caleb back in our work. Hold back, hold back, hold back. We've got a really juicy, authentic self happening. We're building the energy, building the energy. And then it's like he wanted to run. He wanted to run, but he didn't kind of know where or what was going on. When it's time to release and push yourself back into the world, uh, you want to inject all this fresh energy into your service, into your work, into your kids, into your partner. Like you take all this, what everything that's been holding up and storing, and then release it to the people around you. Get authentic at work, because the best thing about coming out of a recovery stage is failure won't affect you like it did. When you're really G'd up and you've really stored up the energy and really rested, things won't affect you like they did. Like, so I'm really rested right now. So I'm keen to, whoever's on my calendar today, they're going to get it. So I'm keen to inject all this back into my life, into my interests, into my clients. And I want to take risks and I want to do things because failure is not going to affect me like it did, or rejection is not going to affect me like it did because I'm so fresh and vibrant. So you just go for it. You send it, you go for it, but you don't send it into more growth work. You send it out into the world. Take a risk with some clients, take a risk in your business. You've got all this excess resources. Yeah, send it, send time.
Jim sharing, yeah, appreciate all the comments. A lot of people loving it. That's fantastic. Jim sharing, oh yeah, well, who else is feeling this? Can we do another session on continuing with authentic self and into real self, please?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's on the mind of a few people. Jim, you're a full spectrum development member now, so you'll be getting access to this, mate. We'll be diving as deep as it gets.
So this is just the dynamics of the left-hand side. Remember, back to the start, just the dynamics of how the inflow and outflow work together, how structures are inclusive, states are exclusive, can't be drunk and sober at the same time, but can be integral, rational, pluralistic, all at the same time. So this is just, I mean, God, who wouldn't want to work like this on the interior, Who wouldn't want to have this fullness and delicious of it all, even if you're a corporate leader or you're a coach or whatever, like, being able to work your way around this territory is just fun. It's so fun and it's so accepting of everyone.
Who I know, because I'm looking at the screen now, there's over 35 people still on the call.
Nice
I
work,
know
Dave.
how many of you have already jumped into the full spectrum development membership. Those of you that have, any of you just really excited to have such a structured, integral, complex, and comprehensive approach, as opposed to like, I did 3 months with this mentor, and then I went on a weekend in Bali and I did that, and then I came back, but then I had to deal with this, and then it's like
Yeah,
just clinging it. Oh God, I need
yeah,
help.
yeah, and yeah, and guys, you do all that stuff. Just know where it fits. Like, I mean, or you could just come to our membership.
Team, on that note, I've already taken note of a couple of you that did request the details. Anybody that I haven't spoken to that does want to chat about the full spectrum development and Journey Home membership that starts next week, anybody at all, please comment in and I'll just write your name down right now and I'll shoot you over some details. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're very
yeah.
welcome, Nicole. Epic class, everyone. Any feedback, just comment it in. Otherwise, it's 9 o'clock on the dot. So for those of you that have to run. Kevin's sharing, will this session be available online as well? So I think I shared with you last week or the week before, team. None of these classes are ever available for the public. The last teaching class was due to it being a teaching class that we share with the public in different areas. So we did make that available. For any classes and any of these classes moving forward, we have made the decision they will be live in the Full Spectrum Development membership area. So there's a new bonus resource on there, and all of these Thursday Open Teaching Group classes will be on there for FSD members. You're very welcome, Chris. It's so good to see you make it. Hope you loved it. Yeah, love it. Tanya sharing in. Yeah, love it, Tanya. Beautiful. Love it, team. Can't see any more questions coming through. No, no, love hanging out with you guys. We can't wait to see you in another 14 days. Shout out if you need anything along the way, or just respond directly to any of my emails. We're both human beings. We like to be in touch with you guys. So if you have any questions or need anything, please shout out and let us know. We'll make sure you're looked after.